Sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. With love and gratitude, I offer my prayerful pranams at the divine lotus feet of our dearest, loving, and omnipresent Lord, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, who is Veda Mata, the mother of Vedas, who is Veda Purusha, Veda Maya. That means he is the Veda himself, and he is Veda Vedya. He could be realized and attained through Vedas. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. First, I would like to congratulate all of you, the young adults, for launching this project to study the Vedas in depth and practice its teachings. It is nice to see you started this at a young age. Swami says, start early, drive slowly, and reach safely. These Vedas, they belong to Sanatana Dharma. There is a confusion. People think Vedas are for Hinduism. The word Hindu actually was introduced around 500 BC by the Turkish and Persians because of the people who are living in the Indus Valley area. But this Sanatana Dharma goes to thousands of years BC. People say 5,000 or 10,000 years BC, this Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma means eternal religion. There is no beginning. That is why, what is our Swami's journal called? Sanatana Sarathi. He is the eternal charioteer who is taking us in the right direction. So let us make it clear. So the Vedas teach the eternal religion, Sanatana Dharma. And what is the main message of the Vedas? You can summarize, we have Ananto Vedaha. Vedas are infinite, but the summary is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaina Paraha. Brahman alone, God alone is true. Jagan Mithya, the world is illusory. Jivo Brahmaina Paraha, that means we, the embodied beings, we are nothing but divine. And that is what Swami has been telling us. The goal and purpose of human life, and also Swami says Sathya Sai organization and the divine mission is to realize and manifest our innate divinity. And also see that same divinity in the whole of the creation. And also help others to realize the same truth. That is why it is beautifully said, the purpose is Atmano Mokshartham Jagad Hitayacha. One's own realization and for the welfare of humanity. That is the purpose of this. That is why in this process, that means ultimately our goal is to realize the Brahman, realize the truth, self-realization. So we are all born, according to the Sanatana Dharma, Shudras. That means we are all born without the knowledge of the Atma. We don't have when we are born. We are all Shudras, everybody. There is nobody by birth a Brahmin or a Vaishya. Everybody is Shudra. But when you become this initiation into Gayatri mantra, then you become a Dvija. Dvija means twice born. Then really you are born into the beginning of the process of acquiring the Atmic knowledge. That is the time they do the sacred ceremony, Upanayana. That means, Upa means close. You will come, Nayana means eyes. You will come closer to the vision of God. That is the time you are initiated into the Gayatri. I am happy we had Akhanda Gayatri last weekend, and thousands of devotees all over the world have participated. And also I want to appreciate your participation in this Gayatri Akhanda Yajna. And here, once you are initiated into, you become, you're twice born. Then what happens? Then you are eligible to study the Vedas. So you study all the Vedas, 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Dharma Veda. Then once you study, you become what is called Vipra. Because you studied the Vedas, you become Vipra. And there are different degrees. In the old days, they used to call Dvivedi, that means somebody mastered 2 Vedas. Trivedi, somebody mastered 3 Vedas. Chaturvedi, somebody mastered 4 Vedas. So, but subsequently the name remained, but these people didn't really learn the Vedas. Actually, Swami, in one of his discourse, beautifully said, you know, the great philosopher, scholar from Germany, Max Muller, so he was very fond of Vedas and Upanishads and Hindu scriptures. So once he happened to have an appointment, an Indian who went there, his name was Trivedi. So he was excited. Max Muller was very happy. Oh, I'm going to meet Trivedi, who knows 3 Vedas. So he wanted to have a dialogue with him on Vedas. When he found that this man doesn't even know what Vedas are. So he was very disappointed. Sometimes people who are like these great Germans, Western philosophers, they dive more deep into these teachings. So then you become a Vipra, once you really study the Vedas in depth. But that doesn't make you the ultimate Brahman. The last stage is you become a Brahmin, Brahmana. How do you become Brahmana? Not just by reading Vedas. You are a Vedic scholar, Vipra, yes. But Brahmana you will become only by practicing the teachings and attaining the knowledge of Brahman. Then you become the Brahmin. So this is how the Vedas help us in this process. So the Vipra also, another thing, when we talk about Vipra, a lot of you might have heard, in Rig Veda it said, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. That is how it came. Vipras are wise people who have studied Vedas. Ekam Sat, there is only one truth. Vipras, the wise people, call it by different names. You call Vishnu, Shiva, Jesus, Buddha, but it's the same truth, but how you perceive and call. So this is what first we should know what the Vedas are. Here another thing, important thing is, how did the word Veda come? The etymological meaning Veda, with, it comes from the word with. With means knowing. So we all eternal quest for knowledge for everybody. So that is why Sathya, Ananda, knowledge, existence and bliss, which is our very nature. We always want to know. We think we exist forever and we aren't bliss, because that is very nature. So with means knowing. So Vedas are repository of knowledge. People say, when is the Vedas started? Knowledge has no beginning. That is why, let us remember these important words. It is anadi, that means no beginning. So no beginning for Vedas. Knowledge is eternal. That is why it is called sanatana, eternal. And it is ananta. That is why called ananto vai Vedaha. Vedas are infinite. So that is why nobody's life enough to study in depth. We can have glimpses and superficial touching of the Vedas. Nobody's life, Swami said, it will take lifetimes to study all the Vedas. So that is why they call Ananto vai Vedaha. So they are no beginning, they are infinite. Third is they are apaurusheyas. That means they didn't come from human beings. They are revelations from the divine. So they came from God. So that is what the important thing. They are called the breath of God. Actually, Swami says the Vedas are the breath of the Lord. So you can identify as God. Another name Vedas are called Shruti. Why is it called Shruti? Means Shravanas. You hear. In the old days, the only way they can transmit this knowledge is by telling to people verbally. So people hear and learn. Another thing is they heard the voice of God and it was revealed to them. That is why another Shruti. So because God revealed to them in their deep meditation, they call Shruti, and they transmitted that also verbally, and their disciples heard. That is why Shruti. In the Shruti they have called both Nigama and Agama. These Vedas are Nigama and they are also Agama Shastra. But this Shruti also is classified into Trayi. This is another name for Vedas, Trayi. Trayi means first there were only 3 Vedas which were recognized. Rigveda, Yajurveda and Samaveda. Atharvana Veda came much later. That is why in most of the scriptures in the beginning you say this Trayi. That is why Vedas are also called Trayi. And also they are called Nigamas and also called Amnaya. There are many names. Chandas. That is why you think Gayatri, when we call Gayatri, Chandaso Mata, mother of Vedas. Chandas means is also related to the Vedas. Then these Vedas, these revelations of the truth through these great sages, they are called seers because they see the truth. Mantra drashtas they call. They see the mantras and then they were revealed. So there are many thousands of them. So somebody, we can't all study. It's like a huge forest. So then it needs to be compiled and codified. Samhita means collection. That is why great favor was done by sage Veda Vyasa, who is also considered embodiment of Lord himself. So he codified the Vedas. So all the Ruks, he called Rukveda Samhita. Then all the Yajus, the one which are used, Ruks are mainly for the hymns of the Lord. Yajus means the one which you do in the worship of the Yajnas. So it's called Yajus Veda Samhita. Then next one, Samas, that means they are the songs and music. You get Samaveda Samhita. Then finally, Adharvana mantras, they call Adharva Samhita. Like that, these are all the 4 Vedas. And then the thing is, these Vedas have mainly 4 parts. One is Samhitas, which is about the hymns. Second part is called Brahmanas. That is where the rituals and yajnas are done. And then come Aranyakas. That is where these people go into the forest, contemplate, and then they have dialogue and the highest truth, like you hear of Taittiriya, Aranyaka with many other truths. And finally come the Upanishads, which is the repository of the highest knowledge, that is jnana. And there are Upanishads. Swami has recorded in Upanishad Vahini, there are 1,180 Upanishads originally. Then when lost in time, then finally left became only 108 Upanishads. Of them, 10 Upanishads get importance because Adi Shankara showed what is the importance. He wrote commentary on that. And Swami also included this 10 Upanishad in his Upanishad Vahini. So in the Vedas, as you can see, these 4 Vedas with these 3 things, that is Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishads, they could be classified as 3 things. Karma Kanda, which is doing this ritual sacrifices to the devatas, gods, to attain something. I want health, I want wealth, I want progeny. So people pray, that is Karma Kanda. Then Upasana Kanda, that is to worship the Lord, like the Bhakti path. And finally is Jnana Kanda, which is Upanishads. That is called Jnana Devatu Kaivalyam. Through Jnana, you attain the ultimate. So the same pattern was taken by Lord Krishna in Gita. What did he do in Bhagavad Gita? How many chapters are there? 18 chapters. The first 6 chapters is called Karma Anushthanam. That means Karma Shatkam. 6 chapters, Karma Shatkam. They emphasize on karma. Next 6 chapters is called Bhakti Shatkam. He emphasizes on devotion. Next 6 chapter, the last 6 chapter is Jnana Shatkam. Similarly, our Swami, what is he telling? In all our Sathya Sai centers, the same pattern. We have the service wing, that is Karma Kanda, we do selfless service. Then we have spiritual or devotional wing, we say Upasana Kanda. And then we have Jnana Kanda, study circles, study the teachings of the scriptures, Vedas, and Swami's teaching. Swami's teachings himself is the real Veda of the present time. So this is what the Vedas contain. And Swami gave a lot of importance to Vedas. Why do we say that? Because when he declared his mission, Swami said, my mission is 4-fold. One is Veda Poshana, Vidvat Poshana, Dharma Sthapana, Bhakta Samrakshana. So Veda Poshana means he is there to support and nurture the Vedas. Then Vidvat Poshana means the people, the scholars, Vedic scholars are people who propagate Vedas, so he want to support them, nurture them. And the greatest example is Swami started this Veda Purusha Saptaha Yajna in 1961 October, and you see many Vedic scholars from then on coming to Prashanti Nilayam and got blessings and grace from Swami. And two of the greatest Vedic scholars, a lot of you should know in the Sai history, one is Brahmarshi Kamavadhani, who was there till the age of 100. Once he came to Prashanti, he never left Swami's divine lotus feet. So he was a great Vedic scholar. Another one is Brahmarshi Gandikota Subramanya Shastri. He is the one who gave us Sai Gayatri. So they stayed with Swami till the end, and Swami loved and honored them very much. So this is the Vidvat Poshana. Third is Dharma Stapana. And Swami is, whenever there is decline of the practice of Dharma, God comes to support Dharma. That is Dharma Stapana. And fourth is Bhakta Samrakshana. He is protect the devotees. I don't need to dwell on that. We have thousands, we all have experienced how Swami takes care of, protects us, guards us, like the eyelids protect the eye. So this is the Swami showed how his mission he declared. Second thing is, as I said, in 1961 October, he started this Veda Purusha Saptaha Yajna. During Dasara time, Swami used to conduct this yajna, and then he used to have all these Vedic scholars come, and then they chant Vedas and do these sacrificial rites. And also following that in 1962, Swami started a Veda Patashala, a school for teaching the Vedas. And then later on, since Vedas were introduced along with the studies to the students in his schools and colleges. And in 2003, in September, Swami introduced the Veda chanting in our regular darshan times. In the past, when we used to go in 70s and 80s, before Swami comes, they used to have darshan music, nice sitar or flute or any other music. But in 2003, Swami knows, as Devesh was telling, they were thinking about this for a couple of years now happened. Everything happens in Swami's time, which is the right time. So 2003, Swami introduced this Vedic chanting before he comes for darshan. And then they will have the chanting like now, every time in the morning and evening, and all the major festivals, whenever Swami was conducting, they always had this Veda chanting in the beginning. And then in 2006, Swami, what did he do in August? Atirudra Mahayajna. A lot of you know, this is where they chant the Sri Rudram, Rudropanishad, Rudra Prashna. So we do that. So for people who don't know, Rudram is composed of Namakam and Chamakam. So if you do 11 Namakams and 1 Chamakam, it is called Ekadasha Rudram. You do 11 times that, it becomes Lagurudram. You becomes 11 times that, it becomes Maharudram. 11 times that, it becomes Atirudram. So it is almost 1,331 times they chant the Rudram, and Swami conducted that in 2006, and that was subsequently replicated in Chennai, Mumbai, and different places. This shows the importance Swami gave to Vedas. And then another proof is Swami's own house. What is Swami's house in Kodaikanal called? Sai Shruti. What did I say, Shruti? Shruti is Veda. So Swami's house name in Kodaikanal is Sai Shruti. Veda, that is, his house is Veda. And then what is in Vrindavan Swami's house called? Trai Vrindavan. Trai is again Vedas. Rug, Yajur, Sama Veda. And what is Swami's house called in Prashanti Nilayam? Yajur Mandir. So shows how much importance Swami gave to Vedas. On the top of it, how much importance he gave to Yajur Veda. On the top of it, Krishna, Yajur Veda. And also you might have heard Swami singing beautiful bhajan. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. He says, Satyam Brahma, Jnanam Brahma, Anantam Brahma. Where is it comes from? That is from Taittiriya Upanishad. So Swami, Taittiriya Upanishad is a part of the Krishna Yajurveda. And also when I started, I said, Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu. Sometimes we chant these mantras and we don't know where it came from. As Devesh was telling, let us work together, let us progress together. That is what that particular mantra means. And Swami gave a lot of importance to that. That is why we do that before the study circles. This comes from the Taittiriya Upanishad of the Krishna Yajurveda, the Sahana Bhavatu mantra. So everything is always embedded with various Vedic chants. And people think only Swami came to revive the Vedas. Lots of avatars, like first avatar of Vishnu called Matsya avatar, which is the fish avatar. The reason, one of the things he did is, one of the demons, he steals the Vedas and takes away, and Lord comes in the form of a fish and then rescues the Vedas. And even in Rama avatar, when they were doing yajnas, this Vishwamitra and all that, which are yajnas are part of the Vedas, and he went there to protect the yajnas. And Krishna avatar, he talked Upanishads, which is the essence of Upanishads, is Gita. And what does he say in the Vibhuti Yoga? Vedanam Samavedosmi. Of all Vedas, I am Samaveda. He identified, he loved Samaveda. And Om Ityekaksharam, he gave importance to Om. And he said important to Gayatri. Gayatri Chandas. Of Chandas, I am the Gayatri. Of all the meters, I am Gayatri. So this is the importance given to Vedas. But when we do the Vedas, we should know the time is, still. Yeah. So when you chant the Vedas, first we should know the meaning of the Vedas. I will touch briefly some of them. First is omkara. Omkara is the most important. It's also called pranava upasana. This pranava upasana is emphasized in Upanishads and Vedas. Particularly in Taittiriya Upanishad, it is called Pranavopasana section is there, just among the Omkar. And there is a Upanishad called Mandukya Upanishad, the shortest Upanishad of all Upanishads, only 12 verses, and just talks about Omkara. And this Omkara is so important that Gaudapada, he is the great teacher, he wrote Mandukya Karika, which is a great exposition. Even though Mandukya Upanishad is only 12 verses, his exposition was so huge because he was so much touched the importance of that. And Gaudapada is like a guru of the guru of Adi Shankara. Adi Shankara is called avatar of Shiva. Adi Shankara's guru was Govindapada. His guru was Gaudapada. He wrote a commentary. I have no time to go deep, but just let me touch few points. This Omkara, A, U, Ma, it is, even Swami talked about it, it represents 4 stages. One is Jagrata Avastha, waking stage, Swapna, dream stage, and Nidra Avastha, Sushupti, that means sleep stage, and 4th is Turiya, something beyond these 3 stages. And also called in the waking stage, they call Vishuddhu, and then in the dream stage, Tejas, and in the ultimate stage, called Prajna. Also called Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, Mahakarana. So this Omkar covers all this. So it is very, very important. Pranavopasana, why it is unique is, it represents the sound symbol of the formless God. You belong to any section, whether you are a worshipper of Vishnu, Vaishnavite, you are a Shaivite, you are Shakti, a worshipper of the mother, or you are Advaitin, you don't believe in God with form or formless, everybody chants Om. This Om is like a universal potent mantra. That is why Lord Krishna in Gita says, the people who leave their breath with the last word Om on their lips, so they will be one with the Lord. They will have no more birth and cycle of birth and death. They will be completely revelated. That is the power of Om. And that is why Swami, what does Swami do? He introduced that Omkar first thing in the morning session when you before Suprabhatam. First, what does everybody does? 21 Omkars. So the whole session, the day's spiritual program starts chanting 21 times Omkar. So that you should know why 21 times. So to clean up 5 karmendriyas, vak, pani, pada, payu, upastha, and 5 jnanendriyas, rupa, shabda, sparsha, rasagandha, and 5 pranas, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, pancha koshas, annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya. And then when you do all that, then you attain the Atman. That is the thing. I don't have time to discuss all those 21 steps, but I want you to just touch few basic things so that you people can go dive deep and study this Mandukya Karika, this Pranavopasana and Gita, where how powerful this Omkar mantra is. Second, this is all part of Vedas. Second thing is Gayatri. As I said, last weekend we had this Gayatri. Gayatri is the most powerful mantra. Swami says the most powerful ever revealed. That is why it's called Gayatri Chandaso Mata. It is the mother of Vedas. But we should know the meaning, because it has got 5 parts. Om, then there is one. Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Second, Tat Savitur Varenyam. Third, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Fourth, Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Fifth. There is 5 phases, but we should know the meanings. So Swami has clearly explained, and it is there in our website. First is adoration, when we say Tat Savitur Varenyam. Then meditation, that is the Diyo Yona, then Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. That is meditation. Then you have prayer, Diyo Yona Prachodayat. So you have got adoration, there is description, then you have got meditation and prayer. That is the Gayatri mantra. That is why, what is the power of Gayatri? Gayatri, Swami said, Gayante Trayate iti Gayatri. By chanting which, it protects you from everything. What does it protect from? Gayatri Sarva Dukkha Nivarini. It says it takes care of all our miseries, sorrows. And Sarva Roga Nivarini, it takes care of all our diseases, it is gone. And Sarva Vancha Palaprada. That means it fulfills all our desires. So it removes all our diseases, removes all our miseries, and fulfills our desires. That is the power of Gayatri. Gayatri itself, we can talk. And how it came about is the mantra drashta is Vishwamitra. There is a beautiful story. I can briefly touch upon that. Vishwamitra was a king called Kaushika. So when this king Kaushika, so he, along with his army, he went to the sage Vashishta. So his ashram, when he went there, so he just wanted to offer his respects to sage Vashishta. But Vashishta was so generous. He said, I will feed you and your army. He was surprised. How can you feed? You are just a little ashram with a little hut. Then to his surprise, everybody was fed sumptuously, good feast. Then he realized, how did you do that? He asked Vashishta. He had a cow like Kamadhenu, it is a wolf. Whatever you ask, it will be done. Then this Kaushika king became so selfish, he wanted to take away the cow. Then Vashishta said, that is not good. That is belongs to here to serve people. But this man tried to do, and in the process he was defeated, this king, because these were attacked. Then he made a determination, I will become greater than Vashishta to get the powers. So he did a lot of tapas. He had many failures. First temptation and with the power, then the temptation with the celestial beings like Manaka. But finally he stood firm, and then he did so much tapas, then he got the darshan of Brahma. Then he asked Brahma, he said, what is it? Now I'll make you Maharshi, you become. No, I want to become Brahmarshi, not Maharshi. He says, I cannot make you, go to only Vashishta. And Vashishta, he realized this man got rid of all his negative qualities, and so he realized, and when Vishwamitra fell flat at the feet of Vashishta, that is the time he got this great revelation, Om Bhurbhuva Swaraha, this Gayatri mantra. That is why before his name was King Kaushika, then he becomes Vishwamitra. For people don't know, Vishwa means universe. Mitra means friend. He becomes a friend of the whole universe by giving this Gayatri mantra. And then the next one, because there are so many things you have, is we'll touch briefly about the Rudram, Sri Rudram. It's also called Sri Rudram, also called Rudra Prashna, also called Rudropanishad. So this is very, very important part of the Krishna Yajurveda. So the Vedas are important. Of them, the heart of the Vedas is Yajurveda. And the heart of the Yajurveda is Krishna Yajurveda. And heart of the Krishna Yajurveda is the Sri Rudram. And heart of the Sri Rudram is the 8th Anuvaka. And heart of the 8th Anuvaka is this Panchakshari mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. So this is the power of the Rudram. So Swami has emphasized just chanting that Om Namah Shivaya is equivalent to chanting Sri Rudram. But Sri Rudram, as Swami has introduced, we chant, it has got 11 anuvakas in Namakam and 11 anuvakas in Chamakam. It has two parts, Namakam and Chamakam. 11 is anuvakas in Namakam, 11 anuvakas in Chamakam. The significance is Sri Rudram, as he said, 11. Why 11? Again, same thing. In our life, 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, and the 11th is the mind. These are the one, when we take them towards the world, they cause us agitation and grief. And when you take them towards God, doing good deeds, then they give us bliss and joy. That is why the significance of Sri Rudram. And here in Chamakam, there are more than 347 mantras. All of them say, Lord, give me this, which is good. You ask only God, give me these good grains, give me the wheat, give me the green gram, and then give me good milk, give me honey, and then give me cows. And they go on asking different things. The Chamaka, Chame, give me that, and give me the power to chant the Vedas, do the yajnas, all good things and every daily necessity. But Namakam is where you adore Lord Rudra, Shiva. There the beauty of it is, real significance of Rudra is it is an Advaitic treatise, where in everything around you see God. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, Sarvam Shivamayam. That means every atom, every cell, everything is permeated by God. He gives various beautiful examples so we understand whether it is a stone, whether it is a hill, or it is a mountain, they're all Lord Shiva. Whether it is a leaf, whether it is a branch, whether it is a plant, whether it is a tree, it is all Lord Shiva. Whether it is a pool of water, or it is a lake, or a river, or a ocean, it is all Lord Shiva. Whether it is a little insect or little microbe, even they talk about microbe, or it is a dog, it is an elephant, or it is a horse, it is all Lord Shiva. And in the human beings, whether you are a thief, a hunter, or a butcher, or a carpenter, or a jeweler, or a saint, all are nothing but Lord Shiva. That means try to see Shiva in all animate and inanimate, whether it is the stones, plants, animals, and human beings. That is the whole thing. When you see that everything is Shivamayam, Ishavashyam Idam Sarvam, then you have that highest jnana. So that is why you need to know the inner meaning of these great mantras. Same thing, these various suktas we say, whether it is Medha Sukta, Sri Sukta, where you are praying to the mother to give you knowledge, give you the wealth. And important here, I want to talk about Purush Sukta. As I said, there are 3 kandas, Karma Kanda and Bhakti, Upasana Kanda, Jnana Kanda. This Purusha Sukta is unique. It combines all the 3. In the first beginning part is Samhita, where it says, Lord, you are everything, your eyes are everywhere, ears are everywhere, here. So you talk about the glory of the God. Second part is the Yajna, where they sacrifice the Purusha, and from there the creation starts. And the last part is the Jnana Kanda. Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat. So, Lord, I know you, who is beyond all darkness, you are the light of lights. Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat. That is the stage you reach at the end of the Purushuktam. And then he says, Tameva Vidwan Amrutaiha Bhavati Nanyah Panta Vidyate Ayanaya. That means only by this you attain Amrutattva state, that is immortality, not by any other means. So you need to know the inner significance of all these suktas. Same thing, Narayan Sukta when you do, that is a sukta for doing meditation. So all the suktas, whatever you identify, go dive deep into it and find out what is, whether it is Om, Gayatri, Shri Rudram, Purushuktam, Sri Suktam, Veda Suktam. You need to know the inner significance. But then how do you chant this Vedas? One thing important is intonation, rhythm, and accuracy is very important. Otherwise, it could give you a wrong meaning. I can give you an example. In Shri Suktam, there is one saying, Shut Pipasam Alam Devim Jeshtam Alachmim. So Nashyatam Devi Jeshtam Alachmi. So instead of Alachmi, you say Lachmi, that means Lord, this time my prosperity. So you should be careful. Shut Pipasam Alam Jeshtam Alakshmim Nashamam. Some people say Jeshtam Lakshmim Nashamam. That will be exactly opposite meaning. So how you chant, what you chant is very, very important. There are different kind of chanting, krama, ghana, and some different parts of schools, of Vedic schools, they chant differently. So you should learn in the right way from the right teacher. That is why it's called Shruti. It is not just reading. You should listen and try to have right intonation and right way to chant the thing. That is important. Second aspect of chanting is should be done with sincerity and devotion. It's very important. You should feel this is very important part of the knowledge and how you do that. And third thing you should remember is you should know the meaning. When you're doing the meaning, you really enjoy the chanting. So you try to do the correct intonation, do it with devotion, and try to understand the meaning. And then people think, well, what time do you chant these mantras? So like Gayatri, Swami has said, so you should chant in the morning and the evening, sunrise and sunset, dusk and dawn, and also in the midday you can chant. But you can chant any time, like even same thing with the rudram, they say pradosha time. So there are specified times which are supposed to be good. But Swami was very clear. Morning 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. is called Sattvic time, Dhamma Muhurtam. Same thing in the evening, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. is another Sattvic time. Because 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. is Rajasic time and 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. is Tamasic time. So whenever you do spiritual exercises during these times, Sattvic time, 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. is good. But God's name and glory you can sing anytime. That is why it's called Sarvada, Sarvakaleshu, Sarvatra Haritintram. Because God is Kalatitaya, beyond time. You can chant all the time, 24 hours. But if you want to choose some time, those are the times you need to do that. Then I want to touch and end here. So why do we do these Vedas? So as I said, we said Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, and Jnana Kanda. But main thing, knowledge of the Atman is, or Brahman, is only in the Upanishads. This Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda give us daily desires fulfilled. That is why Purusharthas are four: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. The main part of the Vedas, they do only with three: Dharma, Artha, Kama. They don't talk much Moksha. Only Upanishads talk about Moksha. That is why Lord Krishna says in Gita, go to the chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, Shloka 45 and 46. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyam Bhava Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, these Vedas are all in the realm of these three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Prakriti. But you should go beyond the gunas. That means Vedas are helpful as guideposts in the beginning, but we should go beyond the gunas. Even Swami, please refer to the discourse in 1987. Swami, September, in his discourse, he was talking about Vedas. He said, all these Vedas are called Aparavidya. So you should go to Paravidya. You may know what it is. This is again referred to a Upanishad called Mundaka Upanishad, where this Shaunaka, he asked the sage Angirasa, I want to know, knowing which everything is known. Yam labdhva cha param labham nanyate adhikam tataha. And knowing which, then he says there are two vidyas, Aparavidya, Paravidya. Aparavidya is all these things, these Vedas, Smrutis, Puranas, Shastras, So they give you the guideposts. They train you to get rid of chitta shuddhi, purify your heart, get you ekagrata, one-pointedness. But then the paravidya is where your sadhana, your intense practice will take you to the realization of the highest. That is what these Upanishads contain. Like I gave the example of this, and all these Upanishads are the repositories of great knowledge. As I said, there are 108, but of them 10 Upanishads are beautiful commentaries. That is from where all these four major Mahavakyas come. That is Tattvamasi, that is Chandogya Upanishad, which says, Thou art. And people don't get it one time. That is why 9 times in this Upanishad it is repeated, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. So this is such of the truth. Then what happens? You realize, Aham Brahmasmi. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, that is this Chandogya Upanishad is from Sama Veda. Then next Veda, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is in Yajurveda. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. Then the next another Mahavakya is I am Atma Brahman. I am Atma and Brahman. That is Mandukya Upanishad, which is from Atharvana Veda. Then finally Prajnanam Brahma, that is from Rigveda. So all these Mahavakyas, Swami made it very simple. Let me say, all this complicated, Swami summarized in one sentence. Sarva Vedanta Grandhala Saramella ఒక్క వాక్యాన చెప్పుదు ఒక్కసారి అఖిల భూతములందున్న ఆత్మ నీవు ఒక్కటే అని తెలియవలయు. I will say, Swami was telling, I will tell you in one sentence the summary of all Vedanta and Vedas, that means Vedas, Upanishads, just one sentence. Just, you don't need to even read so much. What is that? అఖిల భూతములందున్న ఆత్మ నీవు ఒక్కటే అని తెలియవలయు. Realize the same Atma who is residing in you is staying in all beings. Everywhere the same Atma pervades. So that is what you should realize that. So this is the main message of the Upanishads and Vedas. But coming to the practical point, we may know Upanishads, we may know Vedas, we may know Puranas, we may know Shastras. How is it practically applied? That's why Swami said, Ravana, that's why he's called Ravana Brahma. He knew all Vedas. That's why 10 heads represent 4 Vedas. He knew 6 Shastras. So he was expert in that. He was expert in music. He was great in all those arts, sciences and Vedas. But he didn't practice it. He had the weakness, bad desires. So what Swami says more important is how scholarly, how knowledgeable. Yes, that helps. More important is to practice those teachings. That is why Swami said, if you whatever we hear in Vedas, Badram Karne Vishunyamadeva Badram Pasche, think, see good, hear good, think good. Swami said it very simply. Think good, think no evil, hear good, hear no evil, speak good, speak no evil, do good, do no evil. This is the way to God. So he made it very simple. And Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara, that is the motto in the Swami school, that is from Taittiriya Upanishad. And then I said this Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Taittiriya, and Swami sings in bhajans and introduced in his Sathya Dharma Shanti Premalatoni Nitya Jivan. So everything he made it much simpler and easier so that we practice that in our daily life. And another important thing Swami often used to quote is na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena, tyagena ike amrutatva manasu. This is the important mantra from Kaivalya Upanishad. So here the meaning is neither by works, nor by wealth, nor by progeny you will attain immortality. You will attain by only sacrifice. Sacrifice what? That means you give in charities your time, energy and talent. But Swami said higher meaning. Sacrifice your ego. Then you attain amrutattva. Amrutattva means immortality. We all want to be immortal. Not in physical sense, but in atmic sense. So how do you do that? Even there Swami gave very simple. Removal of immorality is the way to immortality. So complicated Vedic injunctions, Swami made it practical. So just remove the immoralities. That means thinking good and doing good. Then automatically you retain, you get the immortality. Because the whole purpose is to attain the ananda. The Swami says our purpose of spiritual life is atyantika dukkha nivrutti niravadhika ananda prapti. Get rid of our grief and misery. That is the purpose of life. Buddha, everybody searched in tried. Get rid of the sorrow, grief, and attain this unending bliss. And that is what is all described in the Taittiriya Upanishad in Anandavalli. How great this Ananda, we talk about Brahmananda. We all have Manushyananda, little pleasures of life, which is interval between two pains. But this Brahmananda is many, many times. There are so many steps, Manushyananda to Gandharvananda, then Deva Gandharvananda, then Pitru Ananda, then Bruhaspati Ananda, then Devananda, then Prajapati Ananda, then Brahmananda. That means 10 to the power of 15. You can imagine, you can't even comprehend. That is why when so much of joy, then the scripture says, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. This is some joy, bliss, which you can't express in words, neither comprehended by the mind. That is the thing. That is why Swami sang, love is my form, bliss is my food. For all of us, we should be Ananda Swarupa. That is what we are. That is what Swami made all the Vedic sutras, injunctions, and teachings into the simplest way possible for to practice. For thus, you chant these Vedas and learn. So finally, I want to end this with the mantra from the same Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. This is also part of the Yajurveda, and Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Lord, lead me from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, and death to immortality. And thanks Swami and all of you for the opportunity to share these things from the Vedas. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.